Hello, everybody. I'm Hank Joseph. Join myself and an expert-lined panel as we dissect the latest sports news from some of the nation's most elite college programs here in Bloomington to the biggest stadiums and stages around the world. Stick around because we have a great show coming up on the Toss Up. The long 7 months is finally coming to an end. Yes, of course, I'm talking about the 214 days from the Super Bowl to tonight when the NFL kicks off a new season. We're discussing the biggest offseason moves along with predictions and expectations for this upcoming year in the NFL. And then later in the show, Ethan Masel will join us to update you on what's going on with Hoosiers in the pros. And with that, I know I can't keep these three down for too much longer. Joining us today is three of our favorite NFL experts. Anthony McLean, Brianna Baylog, and Aiden Mattel. Guys, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right, enough of that. Let's get things started. Anthony, I'm going to start with you. What was your favorite offseason signing?
D. Adams, easily. I just love the move by the GM from the Raiders to get Davante back with his former college quarterback in Derek Carr. You know, they tore it up, back a few years ago. It was like almost a decade now. They're both really seasoned vets. They probably are going to pick up where they left off in college. They're going to have a lot of chemistry. Also, Hunter Renfrow is a dog. He's going to be on the opposite side. He's going to be taking a lot of attention away from Davante. Not as much attention as probably MVS or Lazard back in Green Bay. So, with that fact, I'm going to say Davante Adams.
Absolutely. I think that's a great pickup. Brianna, what do you think?
I really liked Russell Wilson to the Broncos. I mean, the Broncos now, they have a loaded defense, a wide variety of receivers, and I think that he's kind of like creative out there. So the only question is, though, he is 34. It's kind of just like as he gets older, how well is he going to play? But I really like that.
Absolutely. Is his thumb going to hold up this year? That is the big question. Aiden, what about you? What do you think?
I'm going to have to go with Vaughn Miller for the Buffalo Bills. I think coming into the season to begin with, they're already one of the best defenses in the league, and adding Vaughn Miller and that pass rushing ability just makes the defense even better. And I know they're looking to make a deep run this year, and I think Vaughn Miller is one of those guys who adds on to that.
Yeah, and I think strictly a situational offseason signing that I think was crucial was the Arizona Cardinals going out and getting Marquise Brown. He's not necessarily the greatest receiver, but they had to find a gap. And they filled it with Marquise Brown because of DeAndre Hopkins, so I think that was a great pickup and kind of an underrated one. We'll see if it works out. What offseason move, Brianna, to you was the most surprising?
Well, I thought Davante Adams
of
to the Raiders was but surprising, and I think it's going to be interesting, like Anthony mentioned, to see how he is with Derek Carr since they did play in college. So I think that one is surprising that the Raiders pulled that one off.
Yeah, sure, especially with kind of Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay last year. Obviously, Aiden, what do you think?
I was going to say Davante Adams as well, but the main thing that surprised me with that was, having a great organization with the Green Bay Packers and having a great quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. It says a lot that Davante is leaving, and I know they've had trouble in the playoffs and coming up clutch and winning important games, but it was surprising to see that he did leave.
Yeah, absolutely. Anthony, what do you think?
I'm going to keep it in the AFC West, and I'm going to say Russell Wilson. And not for the reason that he went there, but for who the Broncos didn't get. I thought for the longest time, and so did much of the NFL world, think that Aaron Rodgers was booked, good to go to Denver. But he ended up pulling off another contract, with Green Bay, which, good for him. He's probably going to retire a Packer, which is good news for Packers fans. But I'm just glad Russ got out of that situation. With Pete Carroll, he seemed pretty unhappy. Yeah. I didn't really see it coming that he was going to go to the Broncos. I knew he was going to go somewhere.
Yep.
But the fact that he went to such a well-built team has me pretty excited.
Sure. Yeah, and I will stick with the AFC as well. I guess the AFC West as well. This is awesome. This is the AFC West show today. I'm going to go with the San Diego Chargers and J.C. Jackson. I just could not believe that the Patriots were willing to let him go, especially with the lack of cornerback depth that they have on that team. So I was very appalled by that. Anyways, let's try and talk about anybody else but the AFC West. Who has the better chance to return to the Super Bowl this year? Aiden, I'll start with you. The Rams or the Bengals?
I'm going to have to go with the Rams. I think when you look at both rosters on both sides of the field, the Rams have the better team. Just right off the bat with Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp. I mean, two guys that are one of the better duos in the NFL. And I love the coaching staff that the Rams has and Sean McVay, and I love everything they do there.
Anthony, what do you think?
Rams easily. And I'll name off different reasons why I think the Rams. The Rams are in a very soft, conference, I would say.
Ooh.
The NFC does not stack up against the competition in the AFC right now. The entire AFC West, the AFC North is also stacked. You got the Bengals who, were on the other side of who went to the Super Bowl in the AFC. And then you got the Ravens who are probably going to be much more improved because they'll actually be healthy this year. Then you got the Dolphins, you got the Colts, you got the Titans, you got the Chiefs. You got all these teams. Yeah, exactly.
You're listening.
You got all these teams that are probably going to give the Bengals more of a run for their money compared to what the Rams have to deal with in like the Cowboys, Tampa Bay, Green Bay. Like those are probably the only ones that I can think of that are a real threat.
Yeah. Brianna? It's got to be the Bengals, right?
No.
Yep.
I gotta go with the Rams. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Bengals are a very talented team, but the Rams just they're just so tough and they're so talented. And then they also just signed Allen Robinson from the Bears, who Bears fan, love him. But I mean, and then they got Aaron Donald, who is like the highest non-paid quarterback, and I gotta go with the Rams.
Okay, I will go with the Cincinnati Bengals just to play devil's advocate. Obviously, the road is much easier for the Rams, no question. But Cincinnati Bengals returning the best offense, in my mind, from last year, at least the most sustainable, with Joe Burrow and 5 guys to throw it to whenever he wants. So I'll go with the Bengals, and that defense, they'll lag behind, kind of just like they did last year, I think. So we've already talked about Davante Adams a lot. Let's talk a little bit about Tyreek Hill in comparison, that trade to the Dolphins. Who do you think is going to be better off this year with their new team? Tyreek Hill's playing with the most accurate quarterback that he's seen this year, of course. So, Brianna, what free agent wide receiver trade did you like more, or free agent signing or trade?
I think I liked Adams more, just because he has that experience with Carr.
Sure.
Like they kind of have that chemistry going on already. So I liked him better than Hill's great too, but I just kind of went more for Adams on that one.
And you've already mentioned Davante Adams, so I have a feeling
Continuity
we're going to
purposes.
go down the same road.
Yeah.
And then Aiden, what do you think?
I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill to change some things up.
That is great. That is great.
I think he just poses such a threat for any defense that he faces off against. I mean, he's a deep ball threat. He's a short ball threat. He can run the sideline over the middle. He can do it all. But the main thing is he's going to open up so much room and play for Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki, and it's really going to open up the Miami offense, and I think there's going to be a lot of success there.
Yeah, I like that. I completely agree with you. They needed him a little bit more, I think, than the Raiders needed Davante Adams, regardless. What is, guys, the strongest division in the league this season? Let's start with you, Brianna.
I'm not going to say the AFC West because I just feel like that's kind of known. So I'm going to go with the NFC West. I don't know. I feel like with Trey Lance to the 49ers now, I feel like he can really be that spark for the 49ers to maybe get farther in the playoffs this year. And Deebo Samuels, I mean, I think that kind of sets the 49ers team.
Yep.
Then you got the Super Bowl defending champs,
Mm-hmm.
the Rams, and obviously really they could be a Super Bowl contender again this season.
And the Cardinals are great as well. Anthony, AFC West.
I'm not going to say the AFC
Oh,
West.
okay,
I'm going
interesting.
to say the AFC North.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
I like that.
You got the Steelers, you got the Ravens, you got the Bengals, and then you got the Browns, who may or may not be bottom, of that division, depending on what happens whenever he who will not be named comes back on the team. But it's a stacked division. I think the Steelers have their answer in their quarterback, whether it's Pickett or Trubisky. I think Mike Tomlin's going to Mike Tomlin.
He'll figure out ways to win, of course.
I think it's a super competitive division. It's the most physical division, definitely. Sure. So it's always one of my favorites to say it's the toughest to play in.
Absolutely. And Aiden, final question.
I'll go with the AFC West since no one wants to take it.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
I mean, when you look at every team in the division, you have the Chiefs, you have the Raiders, the Chargers, the Broncos. I think all 4 of those teams are playoff contenders.
Mm-hmm.
And not only playoff contenders, but all teams can make a deep run.
Yeah.
And I say they're the best division.
Absolutely. Thanks for the variety, guys. That was awesome. I think that those 2 AFC divisions are going to be fantastic as well. So, guys, coming up after the break, we will get an update on some Hoosiers playing in the NFL this season, and the panelists will share their quick-fire predictions for next year. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now joining us for Hoosiers in the Pros is our very own Ethan Masel. Ethan?
Thanks, Hank. With the 2023 NFL season starting tonight, let's take a look at some of the pro Hoosiers in the NFL. Joining the ranks of the NFC East this year are Peyton Hendershot and Micah McFadden. Hendershot, who went undrafted and made the 53-man roster as a member of the Dallas Cowboys, played at IU for 5 seasons and finished as the Hoosiers' all-time leader in tight end receptions and yards. McFadden was a 5th-round selection by the New York Giants and has since risen to be their backup left inside linebacker. McFadden was a decorated defender for the Hoosiers and led the team in tackles every single year since his sophomore season. Alongside the 2 new Hoosiers, several others look to make a major impact this season. Buffalo Bills guard Roger Saffold is coming off a Pro Bowl season with the Titans and looks to make an impact in his 12th season. Nick Westbrook-Ikhine is entering his 3rd year in the NFL and his first as a starter for the Titans. Westbrook-Ikhine is coming off of a 470-yard season and is looking to take on a bigger role. Last season, Westbrook-Ikhine became one of 2 pro Hoosier receivers since 2014 to have a 100-yard receiving game. Good luck to all 13 pro Hoosiers this season. Hank, back to you.
And now it's time for our quick fire round. All right, guys, so we're going to move a little bit quicker here. Let's just rattle off some answers. It's been 18 years since an NFC East champion has repeated. Will that continue this year, Aiden?
I think it continues, and I think the Eagles win the division this
Okay.
year.
Brianna?
I think it will continue.
I also think it will continue.
Okay, nobody's riding with Ezekiel Elliott and the Cowboys, understandably, of course. Comeback player of the year, Anthony, who do you think?
I'm going to have to go with the obvious, Derrick Henry.
Yep.
Yeah. Me as well. Coming off that injury, I think he's going to really come out firing.
Okay, interesting. Aiden?
I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey. I think he definitely could get it done this year. This is the big one, Brianna. You ready?
I'm
Who
ready.
is your NFL MVP?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Joe Burr.
Okay, Joe Burrow. I like that.
I'm going to go with Justin Herbert.
All right, all quarterbacks. Can we argue with that? Of course not. Okay, defensive player of the year, Anthony. Who do you got?
Give me Shaquille Leonard, who was formerly known as Darius Leonard.
Yeah, absolutely.
He just got his ankle completely healthy since his first year in 2018. So he's going to actually be 100%. We've seen what he's done at 75 or 80 or whatever he's been the past 2 years. So give me Shaquille.
Well, we've seen Darius Leonard, but we haven't seen
haven't
Shaquille
Shaquille
Leonard yet.
Leonard.
So get ready. Brianna?
Kind of a
defensive
long shot.
Player of the year. Who?
Robert Quinn from the Bears. I'm a Bears fan. I love what he did last season, so. I'm
That's
just
a
gonna
long
go
shot,
with him.
but
yeah, it is kind of a long
The
shot.
Bears.
But
It's
yeah.
okay. I like that. Aiden?
I'm going to go with the obvious, but Aaron Donald. He didn't get it last year, lost it to T.J. Watt, and I think he regains it this year.
I'm going to go with T.J. Watt repeating. I think it's very doable. If he plays a full
That's fair.
season, I think he could definitely get that done. Who are the 2 teams heading to the Super Bowl? Aiden?
I'm going to go from the NFC with the Bucks. I think Brady's on a little revenge tour, a little end of the season, hurrah, and I'm going to have them facing off against the Bills. I think this is finally their year, especially with Tyreek leaving. You know, they've lost to the Chiefs a couple times. I think it's their time.
Yeah, absolutely. Brianna?
Mine is actually the exact same, the Bucs versus the Bills, ironically. But I really think after that game against the Chiefs last season, it just really showed the talent, and Josh Allen, I think, has got it in him, and I think they're really wanting it this year too.
I think he does have that dog in him. Anthony?
I got a matchup in LA. I got Chargers and Rams.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Wow,
That's
that
a
would be
local.
awesome.
Oh yeah.
That would be an
That'd
awesome
something.
one. I will not pick the Bills because I'm worried that everybody thinks the Bills are going to do
Yeah.
it, just like we always kind of think that. And,
Right.
you know, they kind of flame out. So I'm going to go with the Bengals again. Bengals are going back.
Okay.
And the Bucks. And the Bucks are going to do it because Tom Brady, he's going through a little something right now. He's going to come out ferocious, fiery. It's going to be a good season for him. Okay, this is an interesting one. CJ Stroud and Bryce Young will be available in the draft next year. Who's going to have the number 1 overall pick, Anthony?
I think Seattle. I think they have a dumpster fire roster, and I think Pete Carroll's getting fired this year.
Let's try to be nicer than that to Seattle. Poor Seattle. Brianna, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually really like that. I didn't really think about that much. I kind of like the pick better than what I was going to say. I was going to say maybe like the Jets, but I don't know. I kind of like the Seahawks picks
Okay,
better.
I also like the Seahawks. Aiden, what do you think?
I'm going to go with the Texans. I think they have too much of an inexperienced roster. They have a new head coach coming in this season. Doesn't seem like there's a leader in the locker room, and I think they're going to struggle this year.
Okay, wow. Well, we got a lot of very interesting answers in that one, guys. That does it for the show this week. Be sure to continue the discussion and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV Sports. With that, there's one thing left to do, so toss it up, find out if we'll catch it, and we'll see you next week.